Holly, this is Rachel from RightStart. I'm going to go over some of the problems that are in here to kind of give you different examples. I know that you have been working with subtraction going from left to right. However, in this particular form and these particular problems, it is best to go from right to left. And it's also helpful if you think about it as one column at a time until you need to bridge them over. So let's start with this one. We are going to totally ignore any other column except for the ones and treat this as simply 5 minus 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. That one's good to go. All right, so we don't have anything else that we need to do with the ones. Let's go to our tens. We are ignoring everything else. Something minus 3 is 4. Well, that would be 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. Those are complete. We do not need to borrow. Those are completely done. So we just need to go over to the hundreds. 2 minus 1 is 1. That one's kind of easy. Let's try this next one. Again, ignore everything except for the ones column first. Okay, 3 minus something is 0. Well, 3 minus 3 is 0, right? So we're going to put in our 3. We are completely done. We did not need to borrow anything. So we're done with that one. Let's go to our tens. 7 minus something equals 5. 7 minus 2 is equal to 5, right? So we're going to plop in our 2. Those two columns are completely done, so we only have our hundreds left. Something minus 2 is 5, and that would be 7 minus 2 is 5. All right, so let's go something a little more complicated. This one's going to deal with some borrowing. Not a ton of borrowing, and kind of on an easier realm of borrowing because it's typical to what we are used to. But let's start again with the ones column. 5 minus 8. Oh no, we can't do that, right? 8's too large. So we need to borrow from the 6. Make that a 5, just like we would normally do. 15, so this now turns to a 5. We took that 10 and added it to our ones column. So 15, 10 and a 5, minus 8 is 7. All right, so here we have 5 minus something equals 2. Because we borrowed, so we are now looking at the 5. 5 minus something is 2, and that would be 3. And then 4 minus 2 is 2. So that one's good. Let's do something a little bit more complicated. Let's look at this one here. Here we have 4 minus something equals 9. Well, that 4, we can't subtract anything from 4 to get to 9 unless we borrow. So when we typically borrow, what do? We bring a 10 over, right? So we're going to bring a 10 over. So we're going to notate that as 14, but we also need to notate it up here. We're taking 1 away from this 10. Okay, so we're marking that, minus 1. So we have 14 minus something equals 9, and that would be 5, right? Now, we know something minus 5 equals 1. Well, without this number here, we would say 6 minus 5 is 1, right? Except that we have to subtract another 1. So as opposed to 6's here, we're going to be 7 because we are borrowing 1 from here to add a 10 over to this column. So 7 minus 1 is 6, minus 5 is 1. That's how we're going to do that one. Some 100 minus 4 equals 3, and that's 7. So that's how we're going to do that equation. Let's do one more, and that would be this one here. This one's a little trickier too because we are going to have some borrowing and we don't know where this number is. So let's start here. So we don't know something minus 3 equals 8. I don't know. So let's go backwards. 8 plus 3 is 11. Right? So I know I need an 11 here. Well, obviously, this is the ones place. So this is going to be a borrow. So we have 1 up here on top, and we are borrowing it. That's a 1. All right? Now, because we're borrowing, we need to notate that we've dropped the 10s down here to add a 10 into the ones place. All right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. 4 minus something equals 2. That's 2. And then 9 minus 5 is 4. The tricky part here is when I don't know what this number is, I'm just going to add 8 plus 3 is 11 because we know 11 minus 3 is 8. Because this is an 11, we need to borrow from the tens column. So anyway, I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any other questions. Take care, Holly. Bye-bye.